GameSwift had an AMA the other day regarding the up-and-coming game launcher, how they see it going forward, how it's going to develop or improve the gaming ecosystems, and what they feel is going to work best for us. If you don't know what GameSwift is, it's an ecosystem based on the Polygon blockchain, and they want to improve accessibility and make it as easy as it is to get onto Steam, to get into gaming. You'll have your own GameSwift ID, and you'll just log in with your ID and have access to any games. So let's get into it, see what they have to say, and let me know what you guys think.
During this hard time. At the same time, I just wanted to say that I find that we struggle a little bit in the past to provide you with the full understanding about our ecosystem of projects, which our general mission is to empower the massive adoption of Web3 games. So in the future AMAs, probably lives, also on my Instagram or YouTube videos, will try to give you this full understanding about this process. Maybe we can do it even today, but since we didn't promote this AMA so much, I think that we are going to provide you with this further on. Anyway, thank you for participation, and we can start over. So I'm taking a look at the agenda. We are starting with the general overview. So we would like to provide you with the full understanding what GameSwift Launcher is, how Web3 gaming is going to benefit from this, how important element of our ecosystem it is going to be. So let me introduce this first product which we launched here. So before I move on, I just wanted to start with the general thesis, which is connected with the fact that our belief for the future of Web3 gaming scalability is that there will be no obligation of having knowledge whether how I should use crypto wallets, how I should navigate around different chains, networks, how to cover gas fees, because this is a massive barrier of entry for traditional gamers. Currently, they are responsible, this whole gaming market is 2.9 billion players, while in the crypto market, it is only 8 million players. So two major limitations which we recognize is, first of all, the lack of quality games. This is just a matter of time. They are coming to the stage, and we expect first of them to be launched next year, including our own game Star Heroes. But the second major element stopping this massive adoption, in my opinion, it is lack of the user-friendly infrastructure. Because currently, when the traditional gamer, you need to imagine what is their gaming environment. Currently, they are using Steam platform, Epic Games, or any other major game platform like GOG from CD Projekt Red, and all they need to do is just to use fiats to purchase games, to purchase some in-game items, usually skins. Here in the Web3, what they need to do is to have full knowledge of downloading wallets, saving the seed phrase, choosing the proper network, because it is only Ethereum which is configured in the MetaMask. If they would like to use different one, they need to copy paste some RPC ID chain. This is the magic for them, which is very hard to overcome. And on top of that, they need to cover and pay for the gas fees. This is the massive barrier of entry, and our mission in GameSwift is to create the gaming environment which will allow those gamers to play Web3 games in a very similar way to the one in the traditional gaming industry. So we don't want those people to take care of all of those blockchain transactions, because we believe that the future of blockchain scalability is processing all of those blockchain operations underneath in the way that the user doesn't need to cover gas fees or use different chains and crypto wallets. We are going to do this for gamer, for user. And so far we made a very deep research on our competition, different so-called one-stop shop gaming ecosystems. And unfortunately, or luckily for us, none of them has decided to create this kind of environment. Of course, those ecosystems are making user experience better, but they still require some form of having wallets, of covering gas fees, or going through the fiat of ramp. This is not the case with GameSwift. All of those transactions are going to be processed underneath, so the user will not need to bother whether which chain he is using, which network to adjust, or where I should cash out my digital assets. And game launcher is the first stage, one of the first stage of this user story. So our users, while entering Web3 games, all they need to do is just to sign up on our GameSwift ID on GameSwift platform. This is the matter of 10 seconds. 2 clicks, they can use even Google or Apple ID for that process. And that's it. That's all they need to do in order to play Web3 games. Once this account is being created, then the whole magic is being processed underneath. And one significant part of that is our game launcher, which we are going to describe today. So the major task for the game launcher is to let the user, let the gamer who is going to seek in our gaming library for the title he would like to play, then the next step which he would like to do is to download and open the game. And what is even more important, the most challenging thing here from the IT perspective is to open the game from the perspective of game launcher in the way that this game is already integrated with the Web3, with the blockchain sphere. And this is what Tomasz Kowalczyk, our CTO, and his team has done for us. So they created a game launcher which is allowing us to download and play Web3 games with the seamless user experience. From the perspective of users, this will be almost or even the same like on any other gaming platform from the Web2 space. So we are keeping the same environment, the environment which they've already got used to. And thanks to this, when the user has finally opened the game from the perspective of our game launcher, or the Web3 space or the blockchain operations are being integrated underneath. So I would like to pass my voice to Tomasz to give you some alphas, some basically perspective how the work on this has been applied from the perspective of technical people. I provided you with the business overview, with the overview of the user, but I would be really happy to hear also perspective of our major developer. So Tomasz, the stage is yours.
Sure, thank you, Wojtek. So basically, from technical perspective, GameSwift launcher, which everybody will be able to download from our website, which we are also preparing, is a standalone desktop application, which will be available on both operating system, on both most popular operating system. So one for Windows users and the second one for macOS users. To build this application, we used Electron.js framework, which allow us to build the cross-platform desktop application, which everybody will be able to run on these two previously mentioned by me operating system. Our game launcher will run in two possible ways. One of this way of how it will be working, I will show you today, and of course I'm doing it right now because this is the mode which you can see the whole UI. It's necessary for us to have this option for now because we are going to share this PC launcher with the beta version build of Star Heroes in common 1 or 2 weeks to beta testers for Star Heroes. And as Wojtek mentioned, the main task for this PC launcher is to provide always up-to-date version, build version to the player which will run this launcher, or if the player would like to run the specific game, the selected game by clicking on GameSwift platform, which will be a web service available using web browser. So the first path is to go to GameSwift platform website, browse the games, click on selected one, and then under the hood, the game launcher will run. The player will have to log in using GameSwift ID, and the most up-to-date version of selected game will run smoothly. The second possible path will be run this application straightforward from desktop, from your computer. So you will have on your desktop an icon which will allow you to run this application. Of course, you should treat this application as some kind of front end, so some kind of UI elements which connect to our cloud infrastructure, as we called it, backend. So all the content you can see in this desktop application on the screen, which I'm sharing, is of course provided by our cloud services. I have to mention also that we are building this PC launcher with help some third parties, and I would like to thank these people to help us and to make it possible. As you can see, I'm scrolling the main screen. Of course, you should keep in mind that, to be honest, this is the second build which I'm showing to someone, and maybe you are not realized, but probably Wojtek is seeing right now this version for the first time. So this is also the alpha for our CEO. And this is how it looks like at this moment. Of course, a couple of things will change. A couple of things will be fixed after we will allow you to download this application.
By the way, what is this highlights section? Because I see that it is not adjusted, so I'm just curious what will be visible here.
This is placeholder for us, which will allow to share some kind of maybe news each news will
Ah,
contain.
okay. So some
Yeah,
updates.
yeah.
The news section. Okay.
Yes, news section updates. This poor images games with game one are done by me, and probably, as you know,
Yeah,
I know.
because I wanted to provide you with negative feedback about this image,
Yeah,
but now I understand that since this section covers news, so we are still awaiting those news.
yeah.
So this totally
That's
makes sense.
why I mentioned that I'm the author of these beautiful images. So as you can
Great
see.
art. You should launch this as your own NFT.
Yeah, of course. So this section, this highlights component will allow us to share some kind of news, maybe some alpha news and things like that. This content is also retrieved from our backend, and each element from this section will contain some image which the user will be able to maximize, and some title and description. As you can see in the front on the main screen, also is a place for some header. So for some probably most important alpha news, most important changes, most important updates on platform, on launcher, on any product of our ecosystem which is involved to running the launcher. On the left side of the launcher, there will be visible a list of games specific for user. So, for example, I may have different games than anybody from you, because this will display games which I'm playing. Of course, this also will be loaded and retrieved from our backend after successful login using, of course, GameSwift ID. At this moment, I decided to not show you how this flow with login using GameSwift ID will look like. Probably I will be able to show you this in the next coming 2 weeks. You should this will be look like some kind of pop-up when you'll be able to provide your login, your password, and then this screen will appear to you. And of course, as you can see in the top right part of the screen, there is a word user, and of course this will be replaced by, for example, your nickname attached to your GameSwift ID.
By the way, Tomek, can you reveal something more regarding the security? Because we know that you are expert in this area, you run your own auditing company. So we are curious how you secured this security in our game launcher, especially that every day we are being informed about some other problem in the crypto spheres. Recently, there is a big problem with the FTX exchange. So happy to hear more about security.
Of course. So in terms of security, we also try to provide the best standard for two actors in the whole our ecosystem. And in terms of GameSwift launcher, these actors are of course the player, so the one which downloaded this launcher to play the games, and of course the whole flow, the whole path of user authentication and authorization. We're using here to provide the best security standards, the OAuth protocol, which will connect with our backend, and of course this part of OAuth protocol which we implemented is also available for using in GameSwift SDK. And this GameSwift SDK is another our product, and this will allow game developers to connect with launcher, to connect with GameSwift ID, and of course to provide it and to make it possible. This OAuth protocol is implemented here in GameSwift launcher. The second part is implemented on our backend servers in the cloud, and the third part of this SDK using OAuth protocol is implemented, will be implemented in each game to provide the best security standard, because as you probably know, GameSwift ID will allow to log in to your account, and on this account you might have some digital assets or some kind of assets, maybe not digital, but then you will be after a successful login, you'll be able to withdraw some money or on-ramp and off-ramp your any other resources. So this
Perfect.
is the first path. Yeah.
Okay. There's a second path.
Yeah. The second path is for the second actor in this whole ecosystem and in this specific product in the GameSwift launcher, and this is for game developers. So we also implemented here a DRM mechanism, which allow only run the game from the launcher and only in authorized way. So there will be not possible to run each game from our ecosystem outside the launcher, because we have to provide, and we are responsible for that, to give you always the most up-to-date and fixed version of each game. So we can't allow, and each player, each gamer should not be able to run each game from our ecosystem outside this PC launcher, and that's why we are using here the DRM mechanism to allow and manage digital rights of each game developer, because as you probably know, each game is of course secured by digital rights. Many people, many teams are working hard on the specific solution. They spend their weeks, their months, their weekends to develop games, and after feedback which we received, this is also important for game developers to not steal the games, the rights and the work from anybody. And of course, to use this, we are using some kinds of cryptography mechanism and this DRM mechanism which I mentioned. So that was the two actors, two paths in terms of security. Of course, if you are wondering and would like to find out more about each solution, I will be happy to answer your questions. The second screen, which I'm going to show you, is the view, the description for each game. And as you can see here,
this looks much nicer.
Yeah, this view is responsible for provide the content, the graphical asset of each game. And as you can see, here's the view for Star Heroes. Here's the button which will allow user to install this most up-to-date game build, which we upload using our continuous integration, continuous delivery mechanism from the repositories which we stored on GitHub to the cloud, and then our GameSwift launcher knows that there is available the most up-to-date version, and after you run this PC launcher and click this install button or run, when the game is installed, you will have the most up-to-date version. For now, this will be very crucial thing for our testers in Star Heroes. That's why you are seeing here this number is number of the build. There is a size of the build. So these things will help us to monitor this each version which beta testers from Star Heroes are using, and of course to collecting some kind of data, some kind of logs from these testers when they are playing our games. And this is the place in which I want to share you about the GameSwift analytics. So another product from our system, because as I mentioned, this data, these logs, this whole things are uploaded, are sent to our different cloud servers, are stored them, and using some graphical user interface placed on a web service, we should be able to analyze and to review this data. For example, to find out when on each hour most players are playing each game, why they are probably quit each game, what kind of weapons they are using, and so on and so on. So this kind of data also are covered with the GameSwift analytics. So another product from ecosystem. And back to the Star Heroes and to the GameSwift launcher. Of course, we'll have here some placeholder, some component for graphic assets, because before the install of the game, the download of the game, some of you may want to read about this game, to watch some gameplay from this game. It is also played here. Maybe you will want to see some screenshots from each game. Of course, below this media items, we'll put some kind of requirements. So every one of you will find out here the information about what are your hardware requirements to run this game. For example, what kind of processor you need to have to play each specific game smoothly, how many memory you should have, how big your storage should be, and so on, so on. So this is the place for such thing on below the screen. And I think that for now it's everything I would like to share you using this screen sharing option, and to follow all the features which are now implemented in GameSwift launcher. So I'm here to ask and to give you the responses for your questions.
Okay, perfect. By this time, I've been answering some questions from our community, trying to, find me, revealing some alpha leaks. Luckily, just before this AMA, we received precise instructions from our CMO, Kate, so no alpha leaks will take place this time. But yeah, we are becoming more and more professional. You need to wait for official announcements. Anyway, thank you, Thomas, for this presentation. And there were a couple of questions which we can address. So let's start with Kashtanyak. Kashtanyak is asking whether GameSwift solution will be also available for browser games. We believe so. If I'm wrong, Thomas, please correct me. But according to how we develop a GameSwift ID, the idea for this is that this could be integrated with also browser games. So, as you know, when you sign into the browser game, usually you need to connect your MetaMask or some other integrated wallet. But at the same time, this is kind of risk for players, for users, as in the past they've been subject to a lot of frauds, a lot of scams. So they are a little bit afraid of connecting their wallets to the unverified games. And this is why, or maybe they could be in the position where they are using some different device where they didn't have their MetaMask wallet connected. They don't have their seed phrase by themselves. So they still want to easily and quickly sign in to the browser game. And here's where GameSwift ID comes to the stage. So this could be used like the login with Apple or Google ID. They will be able to sign into this browser game by the signing with GameSwift ID. And this will provide information to the game API about all digital assets that the user which has the account on GameSwift platform has on his wallets. So the game will be able to unlock some in-game assets or some other in-game activities for this player. Very quick and very user-friendly integration. However, we believe that browser games will be in minority. This is why we are focusing on desktop and mobile games. So yeah, this is where our game launcher is very useful. We are moving on to the next questions. Guns Roses asking, will GameSwift compete with Elixir? What are the differences between each other? So as I said, we've made a deep research on our competition, and of course Elixir has been part of the report that I've received on my desk. And according to this report, Elixir has also delivered a game launcher for the Web3 games. However, they are covering only a tiny part of our platform user story, which is mainly downloading and opening the game with also integration with some MetaMask wallets. If we speak about GameSwift, you need to understand that this is a much broader, much more developed user story, as we are the one-stop shop. And by saying one-stop shop, I mean that the user will find everything which is needed for him to play, earn, and cash out during playing in the Web3 games. And Elixir is covering only this first part, which is downloading and playing the games. While on the GameSwift platform, once the user will download the game, for example, Star Heroes, from the perspective of our game launcher, then he might come to the point where he will be earning some in-game tokens or some NFTs for having some achievements or completing some missions. And those digital assets needs to be stored somewhere. This is why every other competitor like Elixir or some others, they require or Gala games, for example, they require from user to connect their wallet, or at least they are creating this wallet for themselves. However, they still require to send some Gala tokens or some other tokens to this wallet in order to cover the gas fees. This is not the way how we're gonna make it. Trust me, those people don't want to go to the Binance or some other exchange in order to pay for some gas fees token. They would like to make this being processed underneath in the way that they don't need to interfere. All they want to do is just to download and play the game. And this will be possible using GameSwift, because once they are signed in to the GameSwift platform, once they opened the game, all of those digital assets, they are going to be distributed to the built-in wallet, which is directly integrated with GameSwift account. So from the user perspective, this will be like some achievement or some item which is acquired in Steam. They will see this as some digital asset on the dashboard. They will be able to see that this is worth, for example, $100, but they will not need to take care of whether I should store this here, use this network or that network. This is integrated underneath with the very seamless user experience, like on their bank account or like on the Steam account or like on the SEX account. So very user-friendly solution. But then they might come to the point where they decide that, okay, I can see on the dashboard that those assets are worth, for example, $100. Great revenue. How I can cash this out? And here is another major limitation, because this require selling those digital assets somewhere, like on the NFT marketplace or at the exchange. This require covering gas fees. And this is exactly why all of our competitors, they require sending out some gas fees tokens, because they require to cover those gas fees from users. Here in our platform, in our user story, we do it for users, so they don't need to bother, they don't need to take care of that. So you may ask how we do it, because we are not charity organization, right? So the way how we do it is, once the user would like to cash out, all he needs to do, instead of going to exchange, going from KYC, fiat of ramp, covering gas fees, blah blah blah, all they need to do is just to click, I would like to cash out. This is my bank account or credit account where I would like to receive my funds. And that's it. The whole magic is being processed underneath. So first, we are doing underneath the exchange transaction. So if it's token, we are processing market sell transaction, or if it's marketplace, we are selling for the floor this NFT. And then we are exchanging this if this is required through some bridge, or we are sending this to fiat of ramp. And then from fiat of ramp, we are sending this, after covering fees, we are sending this to the bank account. And all of those fees, those bridge fees or fiat of ramp fees or gas fees on the exchange, we cover this and we deduct them from the final amount that the user receives on his bank account. So this is you can see this is pretty long process, right? This is a major limitation for traditional gamers, which is very hard to overcome. We cover this for user, so the user doesn't need even to do this for himself. This is also a source of revenue for us, because it is the case always in business. When you save someone time, you are able to earn on that. So there's also some revenue that some fee that we can incur for those users. They are still happy because they got used to cover some fees in fiat while they make some transactions on Steam, for example, when they sell some items like skins. So this, from their perspective, is they are seeing only estimation of the final amount, and then they are receiving this to their bank account. Very easy process. At none stage of this process, those users had to use blockchain. We do it for them. Okay, we are proceeding to the next questions. OX Meshal, what about STT holders? So, you might imagine that whenever I see this question, there is a smile on my face, because I receive these questions almost every single day. For those who are on a daily basis, I think this is the source of frustration, but I try to be patient. I tried to be transparent. I tried to every time answer this question. So speaking of Startera used to be the launchpad which is launching projects building on top of Terra chain. Once the Terra has been collapsed, we decided that Startera project is coming to an end. At the same time, since we really have built a great team, a great community, we didn't want to stop at this stage. So unlike 90% of other Terra projects, we decided to keep building, to keep our team, rebrand, so change our name from Startera to GameSwift, and provide this gaming interface, gaming infrastructure on top of Polygon, building our own gaming chain. And by building this gaming chain, this will be a new GSwift token, which is going to capture value from this whole ecosystem of products. So when we speak about STT holders, our plan is to airdrop those new GSwift tokens to the previous STT holders. That's the way how we are going to reward our previous community members. And I believe that this is a better way than making migration as the Launchpad platform, because you can see how Launchpad tokens are performing during these market conditions. Even DAOmaker, which is one of the best performing Launchpad platforms, their price actions during bear market tends to be very bearish. So we came to the conclusion that it's better to build to change our business model, as since we are having a great gaming development team, we are perfectly aware of the needs from game developers and from the gamers as we are developing Star Heroes games. This is how this brought us to the place where we are developing GameSwift with a totally new business model, with a totally new chain. But I think it is a very positive information, as honestly, we could be at the point where we could launch our new token. We could make fundraising only for new investors, as they are not happy with some other airdrops for the previous community members. But instead, we decided to keep this distribution for the past STT holders. At the same time, we've already finished applications from you. We received a lot of queries with your wallet number. So the base of your wallets is already collected, and we are going to process with the further informations. I believe that the exact info of this airdrop, of this distribution, will be subject to the next announcements. I don't want to reveal anything at this point. I don't want to put too much pressure on our development team. You can see exactly during this kind of AMA that they are working very hard. The GameSwift launcher, the GameSwift ID, the GameSwift bridge is ready, is production ready. So we are, I expect that we are at the 75% of our whole development. At the same time, we'll try to find the best time to launch our blockchain and our GSwift token. I don't think that current market conditions are the best to do so. So our current go-to-market strategy is to launch our Steam-based GameSwift platform first, as this is a chain agnostic. Launch as many games, as many quality games, build the best ever gaming community. And with these strong cards in our deck, we would like to launch the blockchain. We are first, of course, we are going to launch the testnet, so you could see, so we could start interacting with the blockchain, so you could see some projects that are already committed to build on top of GameSwift. This will be very exciting time. And this will be also a great opportunity for you to increase the size of the airdrop, because although I don't want to reveal too much, by completing some tasks which are connected with integration with our testnet, the size of the airdrop could be higher. So yeah, thank you. I see from you, Meshal, that this is clear for you. Let me proceed with some other questions. Crypto Shinobi, hello my friends. Are you following Jiri project from Gala Games? If yes, do you think this will be a great competitor for GameSwift? Is there Lucas here, Professor Farmer? Because I know that, no, he's not here, but I am aware of this project. However, I didn't get very deep into this project. I see that, this is Gala. This is a Gala project. So, honestly, I don't treat this project as the competition. You can ask why. Because, as I said, all of our competitors, I think, are making a very significant mistake. Because they are building this infrastructure in the way onboarding and focusing only on Web3 gamers. Of course that they are making this user experience better. It is using Gala Games and their future blockchain project Jury is quite user-friendly for me as the person who is a couple of years in the Web3. But from the perspective of gamer, and those are $2.9 billion, billion people, dollars much more. This is a massive barrier of entry, because Gala Games require from you okay, the process of creating wallet there is pretty user-friendly, but they require from you to send Gala tokens in order to cover the gas fees. Then if you would like to cash out those NFTs, you need to find somewhere the NFT marketplace. I found it very difficult to find it. So they are not doing this hard job for users. And in my opinion, this is not a best way to empower the massive adoption of gamers, because those gamers don't want to interact with blockchain too much. They are a little bit scary of it. They treat this as the scam. And there's, we shouldn't blame them for this. So, you can write in the chat how many times you have been subject to fraud or scam. So there is no coincidence that those people are afraid of interacting with different gas fee tokens, with different chains. This is a nightmare for them. So and this is the observation which applies not only to Jury project, but also to any other of our competitors. They are all targeting current Web3 gamers, but they are forgetting on traditional gamers, which are 99% more than the Web3 gamers, and they will be the source, the great fall of new users that we need to educate, that we need to provide with the best ever user experience. And this is where GameSwift comes to the stage with a very similar environment to the one that they've already got used to in Steam or some other platforms. Rocheck N. Hello, my friend. We met each other a couple of times. Happy to see you here. I know about Coop. I mean its cooperation with Immutable X. Just thinking if this is independent from it. Okay, so Immutable is the example of the gaming ecosystem, which is strictly focusing on NFTs. They are having a pretty interesting NFT marketplace for gaming projects. Their business development has signed a lot of quality games to build on top of this NFT marketplace. And we decided that some part of Star Heroes NFTs could be launched there. However, we are totally independent from IMX. We don't treat each other as the competition, as this is, as I said as well, the part of blockchain interaction which is not interesting, which is not sexy for traditional gamers. We are not, of course, it doesn't mean that we resign from Web3 users. We are going to have similar products like IMX as well, but this is not the way for the massive adoption, and this is why we are not treating each other as the competition. R2Rec. Love this from Wojtek. This sounds like very carefully thought project. This is the real game changer, especially for people who like to have everything in one place. Thank you, R2Rec. And at the same time, I'm very sorry that I struggle a bit to describe this earlier on. I need to admit that although I had broader vision in my mind for this ecosystem of products, but I found it at the first glance, I found it difficult to describe the general overview, how all of those elements like game launcher, game ID, game bridge, game platform, how they are integrating with each other. So now I think I came to the point where I am able to describe this much more better, to give you and provide you with a better understanding of what we are doing. And I'm going to bring some more lives. We'll see whether it's on Instagram or YouTube to give you or some other people who are not participating in this IMA about what we are building. Rocheck once again, like with VAXP, it is onboarding users, collectors, while not requiring any MetaMask signing proof like Facebook at etc. Yes, exactly. Basically, we are not requiring the MetaMask from the gamers because we are doing MetaMask for them. Once they sign up to our platform, and they can do it either with their social media Apple ID, or it's better basically to create to spend those 10 seconds and create a GameSwift account, and that's all what they need to do. The wallet, which is built in and which is integrated to the platform, this is something what we do underneath in the backend, so they don't even need to take care of that. And this is the magic. This is the way how we are avoiding all of those problems, which are the case with the bad user experience for traditional gamers. What do you think about Star Atlas in relation to what goes on Solana? Honestly, Star Atlas, I find it as a very ambitious project. I have listened to the podcast, to the interview with their CEO and founder, and he admitted himself that this roadmap to deliver this fully, it will take from 5 to 7 years to do that. So even though they've revealed some tiny parts of the gameplay, I think there's still a lot to do. But I keep my fingers crossed for them, because we need high quality games. We need those kind of projects to be built on top of the Web3. If it goes to the Solana, I think that the future of Web3 gaming is not based on choosing only one blockchain. The future is multi-chain. The future is interoperable. At the same time, it is very difficult to connect those all different chains and metaverses. So this is exactly why GameSwift, as the chain agnostic and interoperable solution, is so important, because Star Atlas could be very easily listed and integrated with our platform. And this will be very easy for once this game will be integrated, once the partnership will be signed, this will be very easy for gamers to operate on top of that, even if they don't want to go deep into the Solana. Okay, project great, team great, but if we want to go far and successful, we need terrible partners and call them to be successful. So let me ask, which partner GameSwift project has called? My English is probably not good. Oh, Huang Da, your English is very well. It is everything clear for me. So yeah, I totally agree. And I wish I could reveal the partners that we've already signed, but I could reveal that there is 2 significant partners that we are signing. I don't want to reveal the names, as I don't want to make my CMO being upset, but I can say that we are focusing mostly on gaming studios, building on top of our infrastructure, on game developers. But we are also focusing on traditional gaming giants, which are interested in expansion for the Web3. And although I cannot reveal the exact names, I can say that those are, at least 2 of them, are very significant players in traditional gaming area. And there is no other ecosystem, according to my belief and research, which has signed such a big player. So happy to reveal. I highly advise to wait for some more of official announcements. I think that you will be surprised. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Do you want to launch mobile games in the future on GameSwift? Yes, we are thinking about this as well, although first we are targeting desktop games. Recently, I've read DeFi Digital report on Web3 gaming platforms. They admitted that 50% of games in traditional gaming are built on top of mobile, while 25 or 20% are built on desktop. However, in the Web3 space, the current investment structure shows perfectly that most of Web3 games are being built on top of desktop. This is why we are prioritizing desktop first. Once we finish this, we are going to proceed with mobile. At the same time, it doesn't mean that the mobile-based games couldn't be launched on our chain, at least their tokens and NFTs, and I can reveal that we've already signed one from this market. What will be API on staking? Of course, I cannot reveal this. Dear Wojtek, when you are going to start a real marketing? This is a good question. I think what stops us from launching a very big marketing is the fact that we don't want to come to the light with the partners that we've already signed. we would like to be a little bit closer to the launch of our gaming infrastructure. As I said, we are at the 75% of development being completed. So this is not the point where I feel comfortable to market everywhere that, yeah, here we are GameSwift and you can build. I prefer to deliver the project. So once it is available for gamers, you can expect much bigger marketing. This will be strictly connected with interaction with our testnet, with our platform. This will be the part where the marketing will be brought to the fullest. I had a problem with MetaMask myself when I started. Good thing it will be hidden underneath, because that would restrict. Yeah, totally agree with you, Kazet. And this is exactly why we are doing this underneath. There will be idea for GSwift, right? Honestly, we didn't decide on this yet. And even if we did before the official announcement, I cannot reveal. Could you reveal us if this year we know more about tokenomics, what with STT holders and so on? I mean, the next year, this year on next or next. I think that this could be revealed either at the very end of this year or at the very beginning of the next one. Anyway, you don't need to expect the launch of the GSwift token this year. We don't think that the current market conditions are positive for that. At the same time, we don't need to rush anywhere. I am this type of player which don't like to start the game with bad cards, with the bad deck. I prefer to complete, the best possible elements, the best possible cards, and then start a marketing blitzkrieg, a marketing offensive. This is why I prefer to start our blockchain, our native token launch at the time where we will be ready to start a massive move, including our games integrated, including our partnerships, including all the stuff that we are having in our roadmap. So I found it highly not positive to launch this year, including current market conditions, but according to the market cycle, we expect that the next year will be much more positive for doing so. Okay, I think that we are coming to the end. Crypto Dev, I see that you want to say something.
Yeah, maybe I add some about this STT holders and so on. So definitely we are finishing our work on the specific website for this purpose. So every one of you will be able to visit this website, put your Terra address, and receive some information from our snapshot about each values and each metric we took to the snapshot. So it will be as easy as possible. Only visit website, put your Terra address in the text box, click fire or OK or check, and then you will see the data which we covered and collected during the snapshot.
Thank you, Thomas. And one more final alpha for those who made it to this end of the IMA. I would like to give you some presents, some small alpha leak, because I wouldn't be myself if I didn't do so. This is something that I've already leaked to our OGs on with the OG Discord role. There are not many of them, so this is a very exclusive group. But since you spent at least 1 hour with us on the Discord, I think that we can reveal that our GameSwift chain development is already finished. we are ready for the testnet, and the only thing which is stopping us from doing the testnet is first is the major update from the Polygon dev team in the Polygon Edge and Polygon Supernet technology. Once they are going to update this, we are going to launch our testnet. So our job is done. I think it's a great achievement from the perspective of Thomas and his dev team, because within a very short time period they delivered the chain. Of course, I don't want to overpromise, as the testnet is still didn't started, but I think it's a great achievement, and now we are waiting for the Polygon team to introduce some small updates. So happy for you to make it to the very end. When we expect this update to be ready, we find it very funny to make expectations at this area, because Thomas, what is your guess? Because I know that in the development, in the IT team, the dates which are promised, they rarely are going to be delivered. So what is the promise from the Polygon team here?
They mentioned some date in the first quarter of 2023 for this update, and I believe this date is achievable. So we should all we should all have our fingers crossed for that. But probably we should be able to release the testnet before that. So as in the last year we showed you that when the Terra blockchain migrated from Columbus 4 to Columbus 5, probably we were only the one team who did it and who was not afraid for that challenge. So probably in our own blockchain, we will want to release the testnet, the GameSwift testnet for you, for public, for our community before this update. But in point and in terms of mainnet, we will wait for this update. We will want to update the testnet, be sure that everything is working, that the nodes are working, that many different parts of our ecosystem, like chain, like Explorer, like Faucet, like Bridge, and everything which is needed is also working on the testnet to smoothly release the mainnet.
By the way, if you are Star Heroes game alpha testers, we really appreciate if you could join the tests right now of our new multiplayer servers. Am I correct, Thomas, that this is supposed to start now?
Yeah, we just started the stress tests for Star Heroes. This is a very important part of this project and the whole development path of this project for us, because we during this event we are going to collect a lot of data, a lot of measures, and to check our prediction if our infrastructure, if our setup of infrastructure will be efficiently, and if the cost will be okay for us to support the servers and many other things.
Exactly. As you could see during some streams, this gameplay used to work quicker or lower. It was dependent basically on who is hosting the server. Now we have prepared with our team our own multiplayer nodes, which are supposed to provide much better quality, much better efficiency, but we need to battle test this and see and gather the feedback. So If you are alpha testers, we would be happy to see you on Star Heroes Discord. By the way, thank you for your presence here. I'm happy to see at the peak at least 40 of you, and let's keep it in touch.
Yeah, also thank you guys. We are in touch.